Oh boy.
Parfait. Donc, mesdames et messieurs, voici donc Momodora 4, Reverie Under the Moonlight. C'est une course entre Sneaky et Tohloo. Any % normal sur PC. Êtes-vous prêts? Alright. On va vous compter les gars. Donc, vous êtes prêts à commencer?
Ouais. Oui.
Donc, dans 3, 2, 1, go!
So yeah, this is Momo 4. It is really anime.
First thing you say.
Yep.
Very important.
It's a Metroidvania primarily inspired by Dark Souls games. So a lot of rolling around from the get-go. Rolling around is your fastest form of movement, so I'm gonna try to be rolling around as much as I can.
Every now and then we're also going to do something called roll jumping, where we mix our roll and jump at the same time, and it's slightly faster and a little better to get around some tricky areas. We're playing on normal, so we don't have a lot of hit points. Usually on easy, you can kind of run into the bosses and nothing really matters. But on normal, you really have to worry about your health. There's a lot of places you can get poisoned. The imps are pretty random at times. They can either throw knives or grenades. They're just horrible, and the whole start can be just an awful mess.
You can also actually do something called the roll jump. A roll jump is basically a roll and a jump at the same time. And the input you have to do for it is actually frame perfect as well. And that allows you to sort of, instead of jumping up a platform, you can just do a roll jump to go on top of it, which is a little bit faster.
So something you're going to see us do throughout the run at the bosses is try not to get hit. If we don't get hit, we get the boss item, which helps us for the next bosses. If we get all of them, it's pretty much a perfect run. If we get hit once, it pretty much ruins the run at any point. I mean, we can go back to a save point, but it's just a huge time waste in a lot of areas. We generally try not to pick up too many checkpoints, but we're probably going to keep it safe and take a few that we're not usually that we don't usually take. They're a little out of the way, but it's not a big deal. So this is Adea. She has this like pearl at the end of her tail. That is her weak point. We can do a whole bunch of damage if we hit it just right. We also summon this fairy that shoots lasers from the sky for some reason. Sometimes it helps us out a lot, and sometimes it just misses our targets completely.
So I actually got a really good hit at the start of the fight. You can actually hit her pearl and deal critical damage to her. So we sort of went a little bit out of our way at the start in order to actually get an item from that shop vendor. And that item is called the Crystal Seed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to point out that we've made it to the lucky 7 donation total, so $777.77.
Woohoo.
But yeah, I got an item from the shop vendor. It's just a usable item that busts me for a while. That increases my damage by about 50%, which is really useful early on for bosses. Oh my god, please! Mocha can move around super erratically. And again, if you get hit, you don't get an item from the boss. So it's very important that we don't get hit. We lose a lot of time if that happens, especially at the start. Oh yeah, this is, if there was any doubt that this was anime, here it is.
Oh man, I got the dive at the last second.
Ah, dang, dude.
I also almost poisoned myself. So Lubella can dive and it wastes about 15 seconds. It's really good. So this item we got from Lubella is called the Backman Patch. It sort of drops these things called Backmans, which are kind of a staple of the Momodora series, on our enemies. It shoots a whole bunch of them, and it does a whole hell of a lot of damage. It's super helpful on a lot of the bosses, especially since there are a couple of bosses where you can skip cutscenes and use items before the cutscene and hit them as soon as they spawn in. So you're going to see that for a couple of bosses. Right now, there's just a lot of platforming. We're in the subterranean graves, or catacombs, or something like that. And this is just a huge test of how well you can roll jump, how well you can do cycles. Oh, you're going for the save.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. If you die and you skip that save, you have to go through that whole cutscene over again, which is just a huge time waste.
There are a lot of spikes here, and spikes are pretty much a one-hit. It can get pretty dangerous in a couple of areas, especially if you're not really certain about how your character moves. You can kind of be on the edge of a platform and just fall through it, and it's not a good time. So we're coming over here to get the garden key, which is going to get us into the Sacred Ordalia Grove a little later into the game. It's just sort of giving us a head start after we beat this next boss. So,
oh, dang. All right.
Oh, man.
I got hit there.
No, don't miss the cycle.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I got this.
Jumping in this game sort of works like however long you hold it, you can jump a little higher. And those jumps are actually really specific. You have to hold your jump pretty much the whole time. And there's like a slight pixel that you can catch the jump at, which is, it can just ruin your life. The cycle will waste like 5 seconds. It's not really good. We're coming up to Frida, which is this huge mosquito bug thing. And it has a couple of attacks that we don't really want it to do. There's a teleport, which wastes a couple of seconds. It likes to use dogs too. It'll just spawn dogs, and you have to kill them. Our most preferred attacks, there's a laser, and like a charge-up laser that'll happen. And those just let us wail on it as much as possible. We take a pretty safe strat here, because if we try to get up close and melee Frida, Frida just likes to teleport.
So there I hit the little enemy there in order for him to be more towards the right whenever he would throw his bomb there. It's actually a little bit slower than just getting lucky and him like destroying the wall on the first bomb, but the way I do it, it's a lot safer and more consistent.
He actually missed the grenade from me for the first time in ever.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can do that sometimes, unfortunately.
That's not good. That's also not good.
Oh.
So over here, we're about to meet our good friend Lubella again. and she's a lot more difficult. There's actually a huge risk of dying to her here, just because there's so much going on. Things can get kind of ridiculous.
So there's nothing much you can do about her diving. If she dives, you lose about 15 seconds or so.
Oh my god,
All
damn
right.
it.
I tried to roll out of the way of... Oh my god, really? Did I not?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't hit the save. I thought I did.
Aww. Yo, that's rough.
Yeah. Oh well.
So after we sort of die to Lubella, we unlock a really cool mechanic in the game, which is the cat. We use the cat a lot because the cat is really fast. And the cat can't use usable items, so it's not really that helpful for a lot of the bosses. But for getting around areas, it's probably the best way for us. We end up getting the cat sphere once we get out of this area. That'll let us switch from human form to cat form. So we'll be doing that a lot just to do a lot of our platforming. So now we're finished with the park, and one of the things in this game is we need to pick up crest fragments. If we get 4 of them, we're allowed to get into Karst City, which is where we're supposed to have an audience with the Queen of Karst. Right now we have 1 crest fragment, and we have to go pick up another one that's going to allow us to warp around from bell to bell. So each of them gives us a different ability. The one behind Frida allowed us to charge up our arrows a lot quicker. With the teleportation, we're going to end up using it a lot just to get from areas that would take a while for us to run back and forth from. So right now as the cat, I'm doing something called a roll jump cancel. When you do a roll jump, at the very end of your jump, you kind of slow down and just slowly fall. And by doing an attack mid-air, we can stop that from happening. This is a mini boss. So you're going to notice under this bridge, if it does it, no, it didn't do it. There's like a little shiny thing under that bridge that you can get, which is this light bug sort of thing. There are 20 of them strewn out about the game. And there's actually a 100% category for this game, which is pretty interesting because it actually changes up the way the game is played. We don't actually go to Frida first, if I remember correctly. We try to do Arsonist first, because there's a dash that we can get from the Arsonist that helps us get a lot of those bugs. The Arsonist is going to be the next boss we go to. Also, cats can't climb ladders. There's also a horrible part about the 100% run. That ladder we just fell down, you would actually have to jump up, which I believe is like near 100 jumps, which is just extremely painful on the wrists. So it's a good thing we don't have to do that here. We end up just teleporting out of the Cinder Chambers. which is unfortunately a pretty cool level, or a pretty cool map, but we can just run straight to the boss. So this is Arsonist. Arsonist is kind of random in how it attacks. It can either try to whip us, there's like a little fire attack that it can use, and then it can teleport around, and that's the teleport. And it's really annoying because you have to dodge it, and you can't stand anywhere near it because the fire just comes out of it. But we can stagger her. And this lady named Kath is fighting alongside us. She kind of has the same objective as we do, but we don't really care about her story. She's gonna try to talk to us here, and we're just gonna say no, and she's gonna get really sad. So now I have the dash, and that roll jump cancel I was doing before. We can sort of mix this dash into it. So this is the fastest form of movement for us now. Which is kind of a ridiculous sequence of buttons to press. Because our hands are just going all the way around the controller pretty much to do this. So not only do we have to hit this one frame trick, but we have to cancel it midair and then dash. So that was Setiard. She really likes cats, so she talked to us because we were a cat. And, oh, that's the wrong teleport. She gave us a key to the monastery so that we can fight Partner Fennel, who is probably one of the cooler bosses in this game, but unfortunately, we kind of just destroy her really quickly. She's got a lot of really cool attacks, and she's probably one of the only bosses, other than the last boss, with multiple forms. And just like really beautiful animations, but you'll see. Oh, well, I got hit. The crest fragment you get after killing her allows you to basically, before when we charged our arrows, we would do this like 3-shot that was really helpful, but now we can charge it past that, and it sort of shoots like a flurry of arrows, which can do a ton of damage, especially a little later once we get the heavy arrows. I just dashed through the stairs. Usually you're on the stairs for this cutscene. I'm not sure what's going on. So in the Royal Pinacoteca, it's one of the few places that we get to see most of. This has a lot of really challenging platforming, mostly because there are a bunch of skeletons around that, like, there are magic skeletons, and these skeletons with these like broadswords that do an insane amount of damage, and we have to dodge them everywhere. So it's really tough because there's just so many things that you have to dodge, and then we get to a boss that pretty much ruins a lot of runs. So we're actually going to take a safety save after we pick up this item. Momodora games are kind of known for having 2 endings. There's the ending where you die, and the ending where like everything's kind of good and happy, sort of. And if we get the sealed win, we can end up upgrading our leaf to like the pure spring leaf. So it makes it green and it makes it do a lot more damage. And we also need that to get the true ending. Oh, that was dangerous. This boss that I'm coming up to now is Lupiar and Magnolia. Lupiar is really annoying. She has armor, so we can't use arrows on her. And she can also move very unfavorably in this fight. Oh, that's not... Wow, okay, and I died. Yeah, basically at the very start of the fight, she can roll forward, or she can just not move at all. Actually, she can actually roll twice, which just puts her out of position for the backing patches. And she tends to do that a lot. If she does that, you have to fight her regularly, and fighting her regularly is just not a whole lot of fun. So I come over here, I use the backing patch, and then I end the cutscene. Just to do a whole bunch of damage to her before she can do anything. And oh, I'm gonna get hit again, god damn it. I got a little too close that time. But yeah, basically you don't really want to get hit by her because you get one of the most powerful items, or at least for your quiver, called the heavy arrows, and it just does a ton of damage to the final boss. It actually lets us get a bunch of 1 cycles against it. I think it's fine that I took damage there. I'm not completely sure. No, okay, it's not fine that I took damage there. Oh boy.
Yeah, Lupiar and Magnolia is one of the roughest bosses in this game. Partially because you can't actually hit Lupiar with any of your arrows, which are like a really important component of your damage output. So you sort of have to rely on backman patches in order to actually do like most of the damage to her.
Oh wow, that was so close. I kind of messed up by not staggering Magnolia at the start of the fight, so he just instantly teleported away from me. And the teleport, I don't know how long it lasts, so it's kind of dangerous. Even if you jump around, you can just end up landing on Magnolia. But now I have the heavy arrows, so everything should be pretty good. So this is the point where I'm going to go back to get the fresh spring leaf. There's just a little bit of backtracking. Nice fight.
Thanks.
Oh, don't hit me. Ah, there we go. And there's Kath. She's dead. We don't really
Dang.
care too much. She did help us in that one fight, though. We should feel bad. Aw. So I'm at the last elevator before the final boss. The final boss, because we're going to get the truth ending, because we have the fresh spring leaf, is going to have 3 phases. The first phase just kind of floats around, but we're able to one-cycle it if we get a really good charge off at the start. Hopefully we do that, because then we get to keep our Tainted Missive until... Oh, I used that a little early. We get to use our Tainted Missive for the second phase, and we can also one-cycle that. And it puts us in a pretty good position. What am I doing? It puts us in a pretty good position for phase 3, where we just kind of let loose all of our items at the same time. All right. So if I miss this charge at the start of the fight, it's gonna suck. All right.
Time is coming up soon for Sneaky. This is the last form of the last boss.
And that's time.
All right, time.
Nice.